Obviously, you're wondering, how do I buy a home in BC? Well, I'm Rob Freeman, Realtor with Stonehouse Realty in the Vancouver Island Home Group, and today I'm going to walk you through our simple, step-by-step guide to the entire home buying process. Don't worry, for those of you who prefer graphs, I will have information you can follow along, but I'll also give you a step-by-step through the process. Step one in the process, logically enough, you meet with me or my team. And we sit down, we figure out your exact needs. Are you looking for a house, a condo? Where do you want it to be? What price range you're looking at? What's important to you in buying a home? And we really try to peel back the onion and get down to the important stuff of exactly what is the right home for you and why. Next, and maybe the most important step of all, getting you pre-approved with a mortgage broker or your bank. It's one of the first questions I always ask clients. Are you pre-approved? Have you talked with a mortgage broker? Have you spoken with your bank? If not, I have a very short list of mortgage brokers that I recommend. It is so important, and I cannot overstate this enough, just how important it is to have an awesome mortgage broker in your corner. Once we've sat down with your mortgage broker and you've given them the documents they need, they'll be able to give you a pre-approval. That means you know exactly how much you would qualify for when you're putting in an offer on a home. There's no point in you putting an offer on a home that's $900,000 if you can only afford a $700,000 home. On the flip side, you might think you only qualify for a $700,000 home, but it turns out you qualify for $850,000. So now we can go look at homes you didn't even know you could have bought before. Once we know from your mortgage broker exactly what you qualify for, this is the fun part, we go on tour. We actually get to go look at homes that meet the criteria that are important to you in the areas you've decided you want to live, and we go explore, we look. You have to go see in person. It's really important. Pictures lie both ways. You might see them online and think, ooh, that's an amazing house. And you get there and not so much. The more homes we see, it will really help me figure out which is the one for you when we find it. I want you so excited that you're vibrating when we walk into a house. I never want my clients to settle. I always say 7 is like the safe Canadian answer of beige or fine. I don't want you buying a house that's fine. I want you buying a home that you love. Once we find the one, we're gonna write an offer, and I'm gonna walk you through that every step of the way. You probably don't even know all the steps that go into it, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. That's okay. We're happy to walk you through it all. That's why we're doing this video. We'll talk about the price you want to pay, the dates that are important, things you might want included in your offer. That might be the trampoline in the backyard. That could be you'd like them to leave the gym equipment. Whatever it is, we can negotiate that with the sellers. They may say yes, they may say no. My job to write it into the contract, the other agent's job to cross it out if the sellers want to take the weights with them when they leave. After we've written the offer, back and forth we go with negotiations with the other side. 3 main options. They'll either accept it outright as it is. That's ideal, but doesn't quite happen all the time. Most likely you'll get a counter back, in which case they want more money or a sooner closing date, something like that. Or the worst option, flat out, they deny your offer. That also doesn't happen very often. The other thing that might happen is we write an offer, but it's such a hot property, we end up in a multiple offer where you're up against other people. That's a bit of a different situation, and I'll explain that more in detail, but you may have to revamp the offer, perhaps come up in price, perhaps we change the dates, little something to sweeten it and make our offer more attractive than any other offer. We may win, we may lose, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Best case scenario, either our single offer gets accepted or we win in a multiple. At that point, congratulations, you have an accepted offer. 2 of the most basic paperwork things we deal with are title and PDS, or property disclosure statement. To protect you, we'll sit down, we'll review all the charges on titles, make sure there's no liens, make sure there's no funky stuff of easements or things that affect your use of the property. The other document's the property disclosure statement, or PDS. That's a document the seller fills out that says, to the best of their knowledge, and then they answer 50 questions about the property. Now that's just a guide. They could say, I didn't know that there was no insulation in the attic. That's why we recommend you get an inspection. So it's just a guide, but we'll go through that and make sure there's nothing weird or funky on that as well. Now we have probably 10 days, 2 weeks, somewhere in there, to remove our subjects. That is getting all your financing in order. That is getting an inspection done and approved. That is checking on insurance. That might be getting an oil tank scan. That might be getting a septic inspection. Depends what you're buying, where you're buying. There's a few other things we can cover, but there'll be stuff to do in that, call it 10 days. Once those 10 days are up and everything is to your liking, we remove subjects. You'll sign an addendum saying, yes, I agree that my financing's in order, the inspection is good, the insurance has passed, there's no oil tank, whatever it is. Once you sign that binding document, congratulations, you now have what we call a pending offer. So your subjects have been removed. Essentially, it's a done deal. We just need to get to the actual closing date when you get your keys. As part of a condition of your financing, your bank may request an appraisal. That just means they'll send someone out to examine the value of the home and make sure the bank isn't lending more money than the home is actually worth. You as the buyer don't have to do anything for that. That's strictly a bank condition, but it's just another something you may not have been aware of that is a step of the process that could happen. So assuming all of that has gone well, now we have a closing date that's usually 3 weeks or a month out. There'll be a lull in communication, and that's totally okay. Up till then, I'll have talked with you quite often. Now everything's done. You'll get an appointment from your lawyer or your notary to come 2 or 3 weeks before your closing date to sign paperwork. Other than that, we wait till the very last day, which is your completion day. So on completion day, your funds go into the bank sees that everything's there, it gets registered at land titles. Congratulations, sellers have their money, your name is on title. Then usually, but not always, the next day, or maybe 2 days after, will be your possession day. That's where you actually get your keys. That's when you can move in. We try, if possible, not to do completion day and possession day on the same day. Makes it a little hard sometimes for the banks, and our job's to protect you. But sometimes we can. It just depends on the pieces of the puzzle. And again, we'll explain that depending on your situation. So congratulations, you've got your keys, you're a homeowner, you've moved in. If this whole process sounds great and you're excited about buying your next house, now we're gonna circle back to the first step, which is you meet with me. Click this link here to book an appointment. Happy to sit down, no charge, no obligation, and we'll just talk about your needs. We'll figure out exactly what you want, what kind of timeline you're working with, and we can get the ball rolling. Hopefully you thought this step-by-step guide was valuable. That's just a part of our handy-dandy buyer's guide that we have. If you want a copy of our free buyer's guide, just comment guide down below and I'll email you a PDF copy. If you have any other questions about the buying process, leave those below as well. I've been Rob Freeman with Stonehouse Realty, looking forward to helping you buy the home of your dreams.